So thank you for coming to the introduction of themes for WordPress. There are a few different flavors of WordPress. There's WordPress.com, which in a way kind of acts like a Tumblr or a Blogger or any other of the blogging sites. And then there's WordPress that you can use on your own hosted domain. So if you wanted to use WordPress to control your own website, the word for it is called a CMS, a content management system. And there are several CMSs. Tumblr is one of them. I don't know that you can use Tumblr to control your own site, but it wouldn't surprise me if you could. Pinterest is obviously another one. The advantages of using WordPress.com, Tumblr, and Pinterest is that there's a whole social network that's tied behind it. So if you go off and do your own website that is using WordPress as the CMS, obviously you don't get the same amount of traffic because people are just surfing through WordPress.com to find something interesting. So content management system. And this is how the web is run. Basically, every big website is a content management system. Amazon has their own CMS. Yahoo has their own CMS. Basically, it's nothing more than the collection of web pages that make a website, right? And what they call the back end and front end is a little bit different because those websites need to do different things. But the bigger picture, the tree of it all, is the content management system. Now, the reason why we've chosen WordPress for the communication and journalism students is for a few reasons. One, it's the front runner in all of the content management systems right now. 23% of the internet is run via WordPress. And the reason for that is that WordPress is wonderfully easy to use. They have a lot of word processing tools built right in, media library built right in, and it makes your life very easy. So let me go ahead, and I made this special WordPress subdomain on our regular website, annenbergdl.org. So today is wordpressday.annenbergdl.org. And this is the most basic WordPress installation you're going to get. This is just hot off the press, the first thing you're going to hit. Looks very similar to WordPress.com. Okay. It's the same thing controlling the back end, we're just not on WordPress.com. And the reason why I've chosen to do this is because throughout the rest of the day, we're also going to be teaching workshops on how to create your own themes and your own look from scratch. And you cannot do that on WordPress.com. They have X amount of themes in the can, so to speak, but you cannot create your own thing. So that's why once you hit a certain point where you're ready to move on and see, make something your own, or you have a new idea that needs its own special web page and whatever, maybe you want your own domain, it starts to make a lot of sense to leverage the same technology that WordPress.com is built on, but use it for your own website. Okay? So let me log in real quick. So here's the back end, and it looks very similar to WordPress.com. There's a couple of things here that you're going to notice that are going to look a little different. Like this little, I don't know, he's like a pirate booger, I don't know what he is. He's from Bluehost, who's our domain carrier, which you'll be using in time too, because we've negotiated with Bluehost to give you a portfolio site. So you could either be a part of the starter, which I think is a couple hundred students, but by next year, everybody in Annenberg will have their own domain, subdomain, that we use Bluehost to host it. Now, I'm sure you've heard of other hosting packages, like maybe GoDaddy. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, I have.
And you're familiar with how that works, right? So let's look at it this way. Let's pretend that it was like an apartment, okay? Well, our apartment that we have is the host. The domain is the address. So you can purchase a domain through anywhere and have your hosting through anywhere. But in order for people to get to the apartment, they have to know the address, right? So the domain is the name, the hosting is the actual computer that the website sits on. So, like I said, we're using Bluehost right now. Bluehost is great because they've really engineered a lot of their whole big program to work on WordPress. It's designed to use WordPress, and it's the best package for students right now. And it's one of the best packages for bloggers right now. So today we're talking about themes for the next half hour. I'm going to walk you through the WordPress.org themes, which are like the base level themes. And as you can see, we've got a lot of different looks here. So I'm going to just walk through a couple of them. Let's try the core theme. All you have to do from your WordPress account is just hit preview, and all of a sudden you can take a look at how the theme works. Now the theme is nothing more than just the actual layout of it. So from the look to where the words are positioned, the back end itself is all the same. The only thing that changes is the theme. So this is kind of a cool one. Now you can choose to install it on your blog by hitting the button, or you can hit these arrows over to kind of switch through them. So the big questions I have to ask myself when I make a website, there's a whole process that I go through, but I'm going to sum it down to what's the real meat and potatoes of it, so to speak. Let's see if I can do this. The important part for me is what I'm making, so it's the what and the why. Why should anyone care about the website that I'm trying to make? So if I have a client that comes to me and they say, well, I want to sell blankets, and I have a story and there's a narrative, this is my market or whatever, I want to sell blankets, there's my why. Now, as a user experience designer, I have to ask myself, what's going to attract new people here? Why should they care if this person's selling blankets? Is there a narrative, right? So it's my job to give them a narrative, and along with that narrative, I have to give them an experience that facilitates that narrative. Once again, when we have these websites and we're going to use them to make a story, we need the websites that actually tell a story themselves and facilitate the entire narrative process. So when we start to think about, well, if I want to tell a story, or if I have a collection of stories, that should be my first consideration. Content is always king. Doesn't matter if you're going to work in the broadcast world, the publishing world, the interwebs, content is always king. And content is what drives traffic. Traffic is our goal. We want people to come and read the story, right? That's the point of the website. So when we start to think about why people should care about our website, that's our key. Or at least that's our starting point, okay? We need people to be empathetic. We need people to understand that part of the story. But what's the easiest way to do that in the old-fashioned print world? You can write blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of text and stick it in a book. Who's going to read it? Maybe. Depends if somebody picks up the book. It depends if somebody's interested. It depends if they had a bad day or whatever. But imagery is a great way to tell the story, right? Imagery. So if I was thinking about how I want my guests on my website, my traffic, because they are your guests, how I want them to feel is empathetic. How I'm going to do it is through imagery. Okay? And the stories will follow. Either we'll tell the stories with photos, or we'll put blocks of text with photos. So once they see the photos, we kind of get them hooked, and then we start to get them to read. So the whole time the point I'm trying to illustrate here is that we're thinking about how we want people to feel, because we want people to care about the website. So many people, when they have a website, or they say, okay, I need to go make a website, they look at it like a billboard, or like it's just something to do, when that's not really it. The website is a story, and we have to get people to care about it. And it's the hardest thing to do, but if you do it, you have a successful website. Those that don't have a story, don't have narrative, they don't have successful websites, okay? Remember that. And that's even on shopping websites as well. When I load up Amazon.com and I magically see all the things that I personally like, that didn't happen by accident. Amazon knows what I've looked for before, you know? They're developing a narrative for me. When I go on there, I see Apple products. I like Apple products. Not as much as I used to. I see probably gourmet foods and, whatever. It's tailored to me. They've given me my story, and that's why I'm interested. That's why I use them. So, getting back to our website here, we're going to tell a story about the homeless. These are our considerations. Let's start to take a look through these themes and figure out, what's gonna work to tell this story. Now, I should preface this with there's two flavors of themes. There are free themes and then there are paid themes. Paid themes, they're all made by designers, but the paid ones are the designers that want to make money, right? And they're more original, exactly, because less people buy them. But there's generally more customer support built into them too. They can do more. So we're just going to look at the base level themes right now. The featured themes here get updated, I believe, once a month. That just means that the folks over at WordPress.org thought, oh, these are cool. We'll check these out. We'll put them up for a month and see if people like them. But we can also look at the popular themes here. Got 100 of them. Some of these you may recognize from surfing the internet in the last few years, like maybe this one, the 2011 theme, the 2010. This is the base level themes. This one's kind of cool. Let's check this one out. This one's called Make. Oh, it doesn't look as cool, and you'll find that out because there's not a whole lot of content on my particular site. Mm-hmm. When it goes to load the theme, because we just made this site and there's literally one post on here, you don't get to see the big fancy image that you see in the background here because we haven't put it there yet. Now, it's designed for a big fancy image, so we could put one in there if we wanted. Let's take a look at a few others. This one could be pretty cool too. Let's see this. Theme preview. Let's go through it. A great big headline to catch some attention. Sounds pretty good to me. Over here they have a widget which has a list. A widget is just it's like a little piece of software that's built into the theme that allows you to, put some information up quickly. Imagine it as a little billboard. That's what widgets do. Now there's some smart widgets that'll make calendars. Not quite sure. Let's install this theme and see how it works. You just click install, that's it. This gives you a little readout of what happened. It downloaded the package, it unpackaged it, it installed it. So now we go over to themes here. Here it is, Arcade Basic. All I have to do is click activate. When you click activate, now when we go and look at our website, what do you know? This is our website. Pretty easy, right?
Right.
You pick something that you like, it's simple, it's all right there, and our content is built in. So let's go through and let's find some really powerful photography.
Is there a copyright issue when we use the images like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a very good question. The answer is yes.
Okay.
If they're not your images, you have to give credit where credit is due, right? Now, here. There are copyright issues, but what happens when you actually infringe on somebody's copyright in terms of an image? Okay, the right thing to do is to give them credit, right? Put the original source of where it came from, just like citing anybody else's work. So this is what we're going to do. We can copy the image address right here. On a PC, you're just going to right-click. Okay, we're going to go back over to our website. We're going to go to Media, Add New. Select the files. Actually, this is if you want to upload it. I guess we'll just pull this one. Hit View Image. Pull it over here. Drag it. Here we go. This is where we can put in all the original details, right? So if I go over here and take a look at these original details, pull this right here, Control C, I can put it in the description here, and then I can also say on my site, this can be the caption, image from experiencingla.com. Okay? That way, people know that this is where it came from. Now we have one image in our entire image library. So when we go back to our site, we still have this image back there. I wonder where that came from, right? So this is what we can do. The advanced settings in every theme allow you to adjust little things, maybe change little colors here and there, update maybe the main background image. Let's see what this particular one will let us do. Come over here and go to Customize. Here we are. Let's customize the site title. What are we going to call this site? Home for what?
For less. Just.
There we go, right? We're already customizing our theme. Tagline. What's the tagline?
Turning statistics into people.
I like that. The arc radius. What could that mean? It's exactly what we think it means. Let's try 800 and see what happens. A little bit less. Let's see 100. Pretty dramatic, right? I say 800 is probably better. What do we think? Is the heart a good icon for this? Probably, right?
Yeah,
We want people to feel empathetic. All right, so let's move on. Right now we have, this is the layout. So with the layout selected here, we don't have any sidebars yet. I'll throw on a couple of sidebars and that'll change a little bit. Let's see. I'll show you guys sidebars here in a minute. Sidebars use widgets, just like I explained earlier. Let's say something like homelessness. Is that spelled right? Homelessness
Yeah, that's right.
in Los Angeles. And then we can put our copy here. We can adjust our colors. We have a background color here. You see how that changes it? Black, whatever you want. I think it's looking actually pretty good. Either at a gray, like that. Gives a little bit of contrast here. White, it's looking pretty good actually. Let's see the white. Black definitely isn't looking very good. Let's try gray. Let's try that light gray right there. our individual posts over here, we can tell it if we want to show the categories or not. I don't know if there's any categories built in here.
Mm-hmm.
Authors, display date. Basically, we have a lot of knobs to play with here. Here's our main image, the header image. Let's change it. Add a new image. We're going to go to the media library. We can either upload our own or go to our media library. There's our image. Select and crop. It said that the header image is basically a little more of a rectangle rather than a square.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is we're going to work on this image real quick. As you can see, we have the little marching ants box right here. So we're going to crop this one. I'd say the crop is probably better up top, but we probably don't want the top of that power line in there. I think that feels about right. You guys agree?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Crop the image. We're starting to convey a feel here, you see? And this, we didn't have to do anything advanced, right? We're starting to get that idea. So let's keep going through this. Background image, that's if we want to make an image to be displayed back here. Probably not right now. Widgets, here's a sidebar, watch this. We can do, we can add some recent posts over here. Let's see where these sidebars are. So here's right here the recent posts. The most recent post that happened was called the Hello World post because that's the first post that happens when you make a WordPress site. So these are, you can see this is how we're getting our widgets displayed here. One of our widgets is a search box, which is this right here. Widget 1, right? Recent posts is right here. Recent comments, if people came on and commented about something. Our archives, if we want to do our archives. Our categories, our metadata. You can also add a page to the top area. Let's see what we want to do here. Maybe we just want to do a basic little line of text. This is what we are going to add.
Now, what do the widgets fall under in terms of the categories that are on the side there on the dashboard? Which one of those?
How do you control your widgets from there?
Yeah, yeah.
So, how we're going to control the widgets from there is this. Follow my lead.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're used to looking at, right?
Yep.
Here's the main page. Here's the dashboard. We have widgets right here. We just had them, let's see. Manage widgets or menus. Click widgets right there. Here's where our sidebar is.
Mm-hmm.
We already talked about that. This is the one I just made right here. So you can control your widgets. You can add custom widgets. You can add, specialty pages. You can do an RSS feed if you want. Put it right there. But the best way to do this is actually just do it in the customizer. Why? Because you can actually see what you're adding. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I can come right here and look at these sidebars again. We just added this one. RSS isn't set up yet, but we added that one too. Here's our sidebar down here. This is a much more effective way of doing it because what you see is what you get. You're not adding things and then not knowing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like I'm just about running out of time here, but I hope you guys have got a pretty good idea of how you can customize a theme. It's pretty easy to go through and select themes. Real quickly, I just want to show you some of those advanced themes as well. So if I go over to themes, and we'll look at some premium themes. Here's an example of some premium themes that Bluehost sells.
Mm-hmm.
So when I click through here, in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually just, let's see, preview it. Hit this preview button and it'll show you how this theme works on your website. You can see it's pretty cool, right? As we surf through it, all these little animations pop up. It has a lot of bells and whistles. Maybe we're going to do a tourism website on, I don't know, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And we put images of Montana here and maybe a couple of different things that we could do. Maybe there's a couple of bullet points that needed to be conveyed quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we had some statistics, some travel statistics that we wanted to load in when we went through here. But you got to think about the narrative that's happening for your users, right? So those are all considerations. So you guys are welcome to go through and check it out. As you can see, different marketplaces kind of give you different theme categories. Once again, this is Mojo Marketplace, which is a part of Bluehost. Other hosts will have their own marketplaces, but the one thing that will always be the same is over here in our themes, they will all have the WordPress.org themes. Okay.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
Some of the things I see under themes,
Yeah.
I don't have on mine, like for example, the Mojo themes. Is that something that you've put in there yourself?
That came with Bluehost.
Okay, that